Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be covering some of the highlights of the 18.06 and 18.07 Device 42 releases. So these are the features we'll be covering in this video. As always, there are quite a few other smaller features that are included in these releases as well, and I'll touch on those toward the end of the video. So the first feature up is our new auto clean rule. Now, auto clean is something that's been in the product for quite some time now, but up until now, it really has been very limited and rigid in its functionality. We've had a number of requests from customers over the years to add new auto clean functionality, and rather than implement those individual use cases, we decided to create a new completely configurable auto clean rule that should satisfy most of the needs of our customers. So here we're looking at the auto clean configuration page. So you give it a name, you can enable and disable it, but the first major thing here is to select an object type, and you can perform auto clean rules against most of the objects within the system. Next piece is setting a search criteria, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. Down below, you see the number of actions that can occur. So when this auto clean rule executes, the search criteria is met, any of those records that are returned, anything that you set yes to down below, that action will be performed, as well as you have the option of sending an email out to notify somebody when this auto clean rule does indeed execute. So the power of this rule is really found in the search criteria. So you click Modified Search, and it'll bring you to a page like this where you have access to creating a filter and search criteria for that object. You'll notice that this interface is very, very similar to ones that we use in other areas of the product to allow you to filter grids and results and so forth. So set that criteria. You get a preview of the data that would be returned if that criteria were to run today, so you can kind of see immediately what the impact of this auto clean rule on what records. Click OK, save it, and then now you've got your new auto clean rule configured and ready to go. So we released Insights Plus back in the 18.0 release in the middle of last year. And Insights Plus really gave customers access to a wide variety of very deep and visually attractive analytics and dashboards. However, customers were not able to create their own dashboards, modify existing dashboards, and so forth. With the 18.07 release, you now have this ability. So if you go to the Insights Plus homepage now, you'll see this new little section, Build Your Own from Scratch. And if you click the green Create button, you'll see that you have the option to create a data set, a chart, or a database. Starting with data set, this is essentially the query that your charts will use to pull data from the Device 42 system. And opening that up, you'll have access to all of the docals and DBBs that we ship out of the box, as well as the ability to create your own SQL. And then these become the foundation for the charts that you'll build next. So next up, you create a chart. With charts, you first choose a data set that you want the chart to be based on, and then you've got access to a wide variety, literally dozens of different types of visualization charts that you can use against that data set and put into your dashboards. In addition to creating dashboards, data sets, and charts from scratch, you also have the ability to clone existing ones that ship with the product. For many customers, this is going to be the easiest way to get started with building things in Insights Plus, and allow you to just make fine-tune adjustments to out-of-the-box dashboards and charts. To do that, you just hit the clone button on any dashboard or chart or data set. Have the option of also cloning its dependencies, give it a new name, and you're off and running. So if you want to get started building your own Insights Plus dashboards and charts, head on over to our documentation. We've got written documentation as well as some video recordings that kind of walk you through the process of creating each one of those elements, and we'll have you well on your way to building your own Insights Plus visualizations and dashboards. So the last feature we're going to talk about today is Discovery Hub, and this is going to be the first in a series of features that are really targeted at making the setup experience for new customers much, much easier. So the concept behind this is that as a new customer, you don't always know what is on your network and therefore are not sure which discovery jobs to configure and which ones to prioritize. So this first release of Discovery Hub really targets at giving you a quick way to scan your network and get some results back. To start out, you enter in some network information that can be an IP address range, a CIDR block, individual IP addresses if you want, and click scan. It'll go out there and start scanning your network and return some results. So once the scan is complete, Discovery Hub gives you a summary of all the devices that it found based on the network information that you provided. That information crosses 5 categories: Windows, Linux, network devices, hypervisors, and then there's an other bucket as well. It also gives you the IP addresses of all of the devices that it found within each of those. So you now have a better picture of what is out on your network based on the network information you provided. In future versions of Discovery Hub, we will also provide the ability to automatically create discovery jobs from this information. But for 1807, this is essentially just showing you exactly what the scan has found on your network. So that's it for this video. As I mentioned earlier, there are lots of other smaller features in both the 18.06 and 18.07 releases, as well as a number of bug fixes. So I encourage you to go out to our website, go to the blog, and check out the release notes for each of those releases. Thank you for your time today, and until next time, goodbye.